but two OGGM cats for the price of one. Check it out. There's Steve the kitten, and there's the original OGGM cat Molly over there. Look at them sitting together on the carpet, looking cute, asking you, please subscribe to the OGGM Adventures. Help him hit 1,000 subs so he stops using us. Please, we just want to rest. Hello and welcome, my fellow gaming people. It is I, the OGGM. Support me, Coke. I will sell out. And it's Wednesday, which means it's time to take a look at all the tabletop role-playing game product that should be on the shelves at your local game shop. But as always, shipping is still, even though we're almost a year in, still backlogged. So if I mention anything you're interested in, and before you run out to your friendly local game store, give them a call and make sure they have it. And tell them the OGGM sent you. Ooh, yeah, the West Coast Grognard laying down the logic. Okay. We have, from Enhanced Gaming, the RPG Adventure Bag Collector's Edition. Dragon scale exterior, foam cushion interior, even a metal charm keychain, and holographic sticker, because why not? Holds up to 16 of the 25mm miniatures with room for several hardcovers inside, as well as pencils and more in the outer pouch. Has a soldier strap and a map on the bottom to hold your grid map, not included. But the price seems like, so yeah, but this is $149 basically for a backpack. I'll show you a picture of it right here on the screen. I have actually seen something like this in real life, and yeah, they're not all that they're cracked up to be. Basically, yeah, it's a $150 backpack, a carrying case. You can find something like this a lot cheaper that does pretty much the same thing. Yeah, okay. From EN Publishing, we have Till Death Do Us Part, Adventures with Heart for 5e. This is a 32-page softcover adventure supplement for $20. They have been pushing this one since February, so I'm not sure what's up with this one, because they did this in February for Valentine's Day, and now here it is in almost October. It's September 14th, and here it is again. So this is, but it doesn't say this is a reprint or a collection. It's just a product that they're announcing that this is out now, except of course it was out before in February for Valentine's Day. It doesn't say reprint or re-release. It just, I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, it is a re-release. So it's either A, they collected it all in one thing because it was like 3 different adventures for Valentine's Day, or it's just a re-release and for some reason they forgot to mention it was a re-release. Anyways, it's $20 for about 5 adventures, all themed around Valentine's Day, romance, stuff like that. From Paizo, we have the Lost Omens Character Guide Special Edition for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. This is a $60 version of the character guide, but it's got a hardcover with alternate art. So if you already have the character guide, you don't need this unless you're a completist. If you don't have the character guide for Lost Omens Pathfinder Special Edition, Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and you want to get a really cool looking version with a hardcover and stuff, and you got $60, you could just go buy the normal one for less than $60, but for some reason you want to waste $60 on a hardcover book with alternate art. I don't see the appeal of these, but I know a lot of people do. So that's your thing. There you go. From Modiphius, we have The Shadow of the Sorcerer and the Age of Connan Sourcebook. This is for the 2D20 Connan RPG from Modiphius. The Shadow of the Sorcerer is $50, and the Age of Connan Sourcebook is $35. Shadow of the Sorcerer is a campaign setting, and Age of Conan Sourcebook is based upon the online Age of Conan role-playing game, and they've taken all the online stuff and converted it to the Modiphius 2D20 Conan book. So it's either additional stuff and stuff like that, and more information on Conan, and taking stuff from the Conan MMO and converting it to the 2D20 system. I haven't had a chance to play 2D20 yet. Like most gamers, I'm a big fan of Conan. But yeah, so it's a system I'm interested in, even though I know nothing about it. But Modiphius sure makes a lot of great stuff, and it's amazing the IPs they've gotten. They're so close to being a legitimate contender to Wizards of the Coast. They just need that one IP to take them over. Like if they got, Elder Scrolls, that would be it. That would be the one. From Creature Curation, okay, you win this week's title for Best Name of a Gaming Company. We have Crawling Death. This is for Morkborg. It's $30. It's a 55-room dungeon for Morkborg with all sorts of random Morkborg, end-of-the-world, over-the-top gonzo apocalypse goodness. If you're a fan of Morkborg, you probably want to be a fan of this too. $30 for a hardcover dungeon for Morkborg seems a little pricey, but yeah, who knows. From Wicked Clever, we have Goblania. This is a hardcover rule book. It's $50. It's a story-focused role-playing game about the hijinks of modern-day goblins, pushing back against the rotten, evil world. Modern-day goblins. So it's 2022 goblins? Or it's fantasy goblins. And it looks like it's taking the idea of the yearly Weeby Goblin special adventures that Paizo has done and turning it into a campaign setting, even though it has nothing to do with Paizo. If you're not familiar with the Weeby Goblins adventures, almost every year for the past couple of years, 5, 6 years, 4 or 5 years, for the holidays, for a special thing, Paizo has released a series of adventures where the player characters are all goblins, and the adventures are all goblin-centered. So, yeah. Here's now an actual role-playing game for $50, doing something that Paizo's been doing for the past 4 years. Yeah. From Steve Jackson Games, we have a whole bunch of maps for the fantasy trip. You can get them separate for $16, or you can get them all together for $60. We've got fantasy maps for the Spiral Arena, the Octopus Lair, and then we have some other stuff. We've got something called Rumors and Treasures for Fantasy Trip, the Deck of Destiny for Fantasy Trip, and the Newness box for Fantasy Trip. So there's a whole bunch of new stuff for the Fantasy Trip. Some maps, some source books, some whole bunch of other stuff. Some cards. I guess the Fantasy Trip Revised uses cards now for Destiny. I don't know. It looks like a lot of maps that all sort of look kind of the same. And some other props and stuff. It's great to see the Fantasy Trip being pushed again after all this time. If you're familiar with the GURPS Steve Jackson times table, it was, they had the Melee Wizardry books. Then they combined them together for the Fantasy Trip books. And then the Fantasy Trips became GURPS. And then GURPS was around for a while and was king of the hill for a while. And GURPS sort of fell apart. I've talked about GURPS in separate vlogs before. You can always find them here on my site. And now it looks like Steve is trying to bring the Fantasy Trip back into the world of the OSR and non-D&D fantasy. Is there room for the Fantasy Trip in today's day and age with so many other OSR and alternates for D&D? I don't know. GURPS and Steve Jackson Games holds a special place in my heart because of my relationship with GURPS and Steve Jackson Games. So I always wish him luck. And that looks like it. Of course, every week our friends over at the Red Room have putting out new stuff for Wretched. the Wretched Verse. I think they've got Wretched Space coming out pretty soon. So yeah, Sylvia and Miguel are the two of the hardest working people I know in the OSR. They've always got some new project coming out, or pushing some project, or re-releasing a project. So yeah, I got to give them a shout out every now and then. You know, RPG Pundit and Venger always got new stuff coming out. Hopefully I'll have stuff coming out soon. So yeah, if you're a fan of non-Wizards of the Coast product, it's a great time to be alive, because there's lots of great stuff coming out as we get towards the end of the year. And of course, lots of crappy stuff too. And as always, I try and point out the good stuff and the bad stuff, and I have something in my eye. Fun. Till next time, I'm the OG GM. If you appreciate this content, let me know. If you haven't had a chance to support or subscribe, let me know. Remember, I have my own merch now, the 2022 West Coast Groganard line. Yeah. Till next time, get off my land.